What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Down on Dave, coming at you live from Germany for your NXT TakeOver Toronto prediction show, eh? That's right, man. NXT Toronto TakeOver is tomorrow night. We're just 24 hours removed, and I'm here to give you all that prediction goodness that you need. I'm going to tell you who's going to win, who's going to lose, and if it's going to be a good show. And we're also going to discuss on whether or not this has the potential to once again outshine a WWE main show, and why that wouldn't be a good thing. Because I think there's a potential that's there, but every time that it happens, I feel like Vince McMahon dies a little inside. Like a little bit of that glint. His grapefruits start to shrivel up a little bit more. I get that feeling. I believe that. Because he can't have that, especially when you're trying to rebuild a brand. And Survivor Series, like all the other main pay-per-views of the year, is a brand in and of itself. And that's the important thing. So are we going to see that return to greatness? Or will NXT TakeOver Canada, go ahead and put the old kibosh on that? I'll tell you, this card is deceptively good. It's a small card like all of the NXT takeovers, but it's a good card. It's a strong, heavy wrestling card, and it looks really good. On paper, I'm very excited about it. We've seen some of the matchups before, but now this is that preeminent pay-per-view where everything just kind of comes to a head. Everything that we've seen on other pay-per-views work right into this moment. And that's what we're going to see. We're going to see culminations. It's going to be very good. I'm excited about it. Should be a payoff pay-per-view. And I'm also very excited about all you guys in the chat that are here. Carl Gibney, Casey McLaughlin. I see Frenchie Ben. He's going to be putting the ban hammer down on people getting out of line, keeping you monkeys in check. Aaron H is here. Sleeping Angels, Anime Asylum. Danny 310. Joe Martin's here. McCod, AK Slaps. We got all kinds of good people. Sarah Smull is here as well. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you all being here live. I also need to show a little appreciation to two other people. One, if you go right down here, down where? No, not there. Down here, you'll see the brand new Dead on Dave Productions graphic. It is amazing. It is beautiful. Yeah, it's a little bit slimmer version of me, and now I shaved my beard, so it's not exactly accurate, but don't worry. The beard's coming back. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be this guy. And this was made by the one and only amazing, talented, and quite smoking hot SparxyDriod, man. Her information is in my description box. Go check her out, man. If you have caricatures or profiles or graphic work that you need done, go check her out on Twitter. She takes commissions. Go check her out. It's SparxyDriod on Twitter, but it's in the description box as well. Also, you see we got this nice little graphic in the background. We have our frame tonight. It is by Iron Knight Graphics. That's right, also known as Gun Cannon 15 on the YouTubes, on the Twitch, and all of that. Gun Cannon really does some good stuff here, man. Look what he did. This is a beautiful frame. Thank you so much. Oh, I see Zion Smith's here. Zion Smith is here. I got a Zion on my chat. I bet you don't have a Zion on your chat. Pittsburgh Boy is here. Just seeing his name, and I'm just like, oh, Christ. Yeah, we all know that's the fucking truth, huh? We all know that's the truth. We will be taking your calls. I don't have my Skype on because I'm bad at what I do. We will be taking your calls, your questions, your comments, your concerns, your hopes, your quips, your quotes, your loves, your joys, and everything else in between. We will be taking those throughout the show. But first, let's go ahead and get through this NXT TakeOver Toronto card, Let's get through that first, and then we will get to those phone calls. And remember, this is the first of two shows tonight. First of two shows. We will be doing Nerd and the Jerk a little bit later on as well. So, action-packed night. Very excited. Okay. So, like I said, not the biggest card in the world. It's small, but it's nice. It's got some good stuff going on with it. So, let's get right into it. This is a 5-match card. Let's start with more than likely the most glorious match of the night. Two returning Canadian heroes, Tye Dillinger, Bobby Roode, two guys who also had very small stints in WWE in the past and then worked their way back to WWE, took different paths to get there, and also two guys who have two of the most over gimmicks in NXT, possibly in all of WWE. Tye Dillinger did something with a really bad gimmick that we've seen in the past, this whole Perfect 10 thing. We've seen this type of gimmick, the super egomaniacal type guy. I mean, Rick Martel did it, for Christ's sake, but he didn't hold up to number 10. Tye took it to a new place, and he did it in a wonderful way. And every time that he says Perfect 10, he's throwing out a porn name site. So that's good. A porn site name. That's fantastic. So Tye Dillinger and his Perfect 10 against Glorious. I won't give in till I'm victorious. Yes, Bobby Roode, who is blowing people's doors off every time that he comes out. Everyone loves the theme. Everyone loves what Bobby Roode is doing. But I'm expecting a different style out of this match. I'm expecting this fight to actually be a longer match. We're going to see a little bit more out of Bobby Roode, I think. And it should be a lot of fun. I'm actually very much looking forward to this match. It's deceptive. They've done a good job over the last month and a half or so telling a story that in and of itself doesn't have a whole lot of meat, but they've told it in a way that has made you care. They found a way to use the Dusty Rhodes Classic Tag Team Tournament to start a feud that really didn't need to happen. But that's not necessarily a negative. You see Bobby Roode begging Tye Dillinger to be his partner, only to turn on him at the sight of Sanity, not only helped Sanity, but it helped this feud come to pass. And now we have Tye Dillinger, who's taken it very personally. They've done a good job with the time that they've had. I think it's very exciting. I'm very, very happy to see this fight. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. People are going to go crazy for it. We know that stadium is going to go absolutely bananas over this match. Now the question is, who wins? So that's what I want to know from you guys in the chat. Who you got winning, man? That's what I want to know. Who you got? Bobby Roode, the glorious one, or the Perfect 10, Tye Dillinger? I want to know who you got in the chat. That's what I want to see. Hit me up. I'm going to go ahead. You see, I want to pick Bobby Roode. But here's the thing. Doesn't this feel like it's time for Tye Dillinger? Bobby Roode's 40 years old. Doesn't it feel like this is the perfect storm? This is what we've been waiting for Tye Dillinger, who has been so close to superstardom, so close to having that big push to the main roster or higher on the card in NXT. Doesn't it feel like this is the time? It does. It's the right guy, Bobby Roode. They're both Toronto kids, both Canadian, so it makes complete sense that neither one of them is going to be fan base overwise more than the other. I like this matchup for Tye. However, we've said this so many times with Tye Dillinger. It feels like so many times that Tye Dillinger was right there and he was going to win a match that he seemed to certainly should have. But does it come at the expense of Bobby Roode at this point? That's the question you have to ask yourself. I love what Bobby Roode's doing, but does Bobby Roode need to win this match to continue on what he's doing in NXT? And the answer is no. So going back and forth a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick Tye Dillinger. I think this is the time where NXT goes to prototypical type wrestling booking and put the younger guy over that needs to win more. So I'm going with Tye Dillinger over Bobby Roode. I'm not super confident in that. Let's go ahead and see what the chat says. Kyle Lorch, when Bobby Roode's music hits, the arena will blow up. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Carl Gibney, Roode to win. Sarah Small, Bobby Roode. Case McLaughlin, Roode. Real Talk, Bobby Roode. AK Slaps, Bobby Roode. Sleeping Angels, Bobby Roode. McCod, Glorious, the guy from Toronto and waiting for the Habs, Carolina. Yeah, okay, that wasn't the question. Everybody's saying Roode. I'm going with the Perfect 10. I'm going with the Perfect 10. I'm lone wolfing it. Yeah, I'm lone wolfing this shit. I'm going Tye Dillinger, man. I think it's time. It needs to happen sooner rather than later. I know that we've been saying it for so long. I think it's got to happen. Ty needs a definitive win. And this would be his biggest win in NXT. This would be it. So I think this is what you got to do. So that is my prediction. Francisco Batista says, Dillinger would be a great IC champ. I agree. Tony Pacheco is here. So is Real Talk Metaphor Messiah. We got everybody here. How you guys doing? Make sure you hit that like button if you've yet to do so. Hit that like button. Go ahead and push it. All right. The finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. The Authors of Pain versus TM61. What we've seen throughout the tag team division and the women's division is a rebuilding. They got teams that are making a presence known, just like the women. And I believe that the women are actually getting on the NXT card as well, that I don't have on this, and we're going to talk about that match as well. But you got TM61, who is a world travel tag team that, you know, the Mighty Don't Kneel, you know, just amazing tag team all over the world for a very long time. And the Authors of Pain, who are relatively unknown, but you have the advantage of having, you know, one of the greatest managers in the history of wrestling, you know, Paul Ellering. Now, I heard something in the latest NXT this week that Paul Ellering is going to be suspended over the ring in a shark cage. What the hell? God, that's WCW stuff, man. That's old school WCW stuff. Holy shit. I fucking love it, man. It's going to be interesting to see how that happens. I like the Authors of Pain. I like what they bring to the table. I think TM61 is obviously, to me, they're a better tag team, but it doesn't feel like the Authors of Pain should be losing this match. Now, the caveat there is the fact that Ellering is over the cage, or is being in a shark cage over the ring. Because of that, they've kind of put this in a situation where the Authors of Pain can lose this match and can lose the tournament, and it would be accepted because they're without their big gun. They're without Paul Ellering. Now, there's a double-edged sword there, because then the question becomes, can they only win with Paul Ellering? So the safer bet is the Authors of Pain to win. TM61, you can make a really strong case that they're winners already, that they have beaten some good tag teams in this tournament. So whether they win or not, they're positioned quite well, and stuff they did before the tournament as well that is putting them in a really good spot. And I think that's a fair argument. So with all of that said, I'm going to go with the Authors of Pain. I want to hear what you guys have to say in the chat about this match. Let's see what people have to say about the match. Sarah Small, Authors of Pain. McCod says it should be a good match no matter who wins. I agree. Pittsburgh Boy, LOL. We all know the Authors of Pain are winning. God, I can't help it. I can't, oh God, I can't help it. Even reading his comments just oozes with douchebaggery. Oh my God. Casey McLaughlin, best NXT takeover so far. Oh, I don't know. That's saying a lot, because there's been some really good takeovers. We'll see what happens. Could be. Who knows? Chris Payne, no match on this card will be better than DIY versus Revival 2 out of 3 falls. We're going to talk about that match in a second. That should be a really good fight. Sleeping Angels, Authors of Pain is going to win, more than likely. More. Carl Gibney, also Authors of Pain. Chris Payne, TM61 win to feud with Revival next. Interesting. I think you can go with TM61. I don't think it's necessarily a bad pick. But the Authors of Pain doesn't. Did they really end their undefeated streak? I don't know, man. McCod, Authors of Pain. Zion Smith. That's right. I have a Zion here. Authors of Pain. Francisco, Authors of Pain. Probably. Robbo 87. What does TM61 stand for? It's a playoff of the Mighty. The Mighty Don't Kneel. The 6-1 is just kind of a number that they threw in there. I'm not sure what 6-1 stands for. But the Mighty, it was their tag team over the world. Their name was the Mighty Don't Kneel, which was fucking awesome. Badass tag team name. So the TM, I believe, stands for the Mighty, and then 6-1. I don't know. So there you go. There you go. Should be a good match, though. I'm looking forward to it. It's styles clash, man. It's such a clash of styles. You got a very quick fun match to win, or a fun tag team in TM61. They just got a couple of fucking bruisers in the Authors of Pain. So what's going to happen? Something's got to give. The bigger guys usually win. So, all right. Let's talk about, real quick, before we get to the tag team match that people actually want to see a little bit more than this, the Divas match. I'm sorry, not Divas. They're not Divas anymore. They never were on NXT, as a matter of fact. The women's match. They're doing a 6-women's match. Now, usually, you hear me quite often shit on these type of matches because I don't think they work. I think that they're showcases. However, the way that this one's been built up, you got 6 women who are becoming the division. The only one, I believe, fair to say, Ember Moon is the only one that has really put her stamp on that division. However, you got Billie Kay, you have Peyton Royce, who are becoming a very good team together. They got everything you want to see. The look, they're good in the ring, they're leggy. They got a lot of stuff that you want to see. They're a good team. So that division's starting to flesh out. And then you got 2 other women who seem to be rather over. You got the least over of anyone in this match. That's Aaliyah, but seemed to have a lot of talent. I do like her. She's got a good look to her. She gets a really weird face when she gets hurt, but still, I do like her a lot. And then the train wreck that is Liv Morgan, but people seem to dig her. I don't know why. She is awful, but it is what I just like hearing hearing Corey Graves make fun of her for being from Jersey. How good is that? Oh my God, so funny. There's going to be a 6th person as well. Someone's going to be tagging with Billie and Peyton. On top of that, no idea who it is. It could be a returning member. It could be somebody brand new. We really don't know. It's going to be interesting to see who they go with. Is it going to be another leggy, sexy woman, or is it going to be somebody that we're not expecting? Somebody that can kind of counter Ember Moon? That's going to be the question. So I'm looking forward to that match a little bit more, mainly because it's fleshing out the division. The reason why we're getting the women's championship match that we're getting is because that division is not fleshed out. It's Asuka and then Ember Moon, but nobody else. So this match is going to go a long way of putting a stamp. Putting them on the pay-per-view is a really smart thing to do. And it has been getting better. This division, these women are starting to actually create a division. And so it's going to be fun to see where it goes from there. It's going to be a completely, type of showcase, but in a good way. Chris Payne says Nikki Cross. I don't know. She doesn't seem to fit with Royce and Billie Kay. We'll see. I'm not sure. Let's talk. Oh, man, my voice is crack-a-lacking tonight. Kyle Lorch. Dave, isn't she a Carmella ripoff? Yeah, a little bit. Let's talk about the tag team titles match. 2 out of 3 falls. The Revival versus DIY. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. This should be a great match. Like arcing rows of jism type of match. All over my face, neck, and chest. These two had a great match at Brooklyn. It was fantastic. It was captivating. And to see them go one more time, 2 out of 3 falls in a definitive match, it should be great. And this does seem to be the time where Revival can lose the belts to a team that everybody wants to see win. The only caveat to that is, man, could the Cruiserweight division really, really use Ciampa and Gargano? I mean, Jesus H. Chrysler. Could they really need those guys in that division right now, especially with 205 Live? But because Live 205, whatever it's called, because it's going to have its own show and everything, there's no reason why they can't still compete on that show individually as well as be a tag team if and when they do go up to the main roster. It's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's time for DIY. The Revival have been an amazing tag team, but God, man, I want to see the Revival show up at Survivor Series and fuck somebody up. I want to see them lay out whoever is the last team standing in the tag team Survivor Series match, because that's the only way that match is going to seriously have some juice. That's the only way that match, in my book, is going to really do something special, is if you do something extra after the match, and it's going to be the Revival coming out and laying someone out would be amazing, especially if it turns out to be either Cass and Enzo, American Alpha, or either one of the tag team champions. You have 4 teams that you can pick from, and I think 2 on each brand, and I think that no matter who you have them lay out, it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. So I'm looking forward to that, and all 4 are face teams, oddly enough. And I guarantee one of those 4 will be winning this event, the Survivor Series tag team match. So that's going to be fun, but I think it's time for the Revival to lose. I think it's time. Chris Payne, Revival win. Gargano turns heel since everyone expects Ciampa, but Gargano is a good heel as well. I don't think that they want to do that. I think that it's a little bit of a mistake. Ciampa and Gargano, you have a long time to be able to tell that story, and you've already kind of teased it at one point. I don't see the need to break them up yet. If you want to break up teams, there are other teams that are better candidates than Gargano and Ciampa. Because they've already showed the willingness to compete against each other at a high level, like beat the holy shit out of each other like they did in the CWC. So turning one heel doesn't really make a lot of sense. So Kyle Lorch, Dave, do you think the Revival should be on SmackDown to help their division? I think that both divisions need a strong heel presence. Probably SmackDown a little bit more because the Usos are still the Usos at the end of the day. Raw does have the club, even though it's not working out all that well. But yeah, I think SmackDown could use a definitive heel team a little bit more. So yeah, I'd like to see them go to SmackDown. We'll see. As far as the winner, who do you guys think is going to win? The Revival or DIY? I'm going with DIY. Let's see what you guys have to say on there. Casey McLaughlin. The Revival should win this one. Pittsburgh boy DIY. Pizza Taco just wanted to stop by. Dave, how you doing? Sarah Small, Gargano, and Ciampa. Sleeping Angels DIY is going to win. Carl Gibney DIY. Chris Payne Revival wins, and then he talks about the Gargano heel turn, even though I don't think it's going to happen. But it's a nice little twist. Sleeping Angels. We need the Revival on the main card. I agree. Have them drop the belts. I agree. Where else? Dave, do you think the Revival should? Yeah, okay. Billy Kay and Peyton Royce get Candice LeRae as their partner. Then Gargano turns heel, and Candice and Gargano can be a heel power couple. Jesus Christ. That's pretty convoluted. Good stuff, though. And way to throw them all in together. Formal Ghost. Toronto will be glorious. Indeed it will. Sleeping Angels DIY will win. Francisco Batista DIY. Macabre Revival lose, and they lay out the New Day at SummerSlam or Survivor Series and send the club to SmackDown Live. Very possible. Pizza Taco DIY. All right. That leads us to the Women's Championship match. Asuka versus Mickie James, the legendary Mickie James, returning to WWE under the NXT banner. This is exciting in a lot of ways, man. Asuka, you can make the argument that this is her toughest challenge because everyone that she's faced is relatively limited in experience. Everyone that she's really had matches with to this level, she's kind of had to take the lead in a lot of ways, Bayley included. Mickie James, though, she's bona fide badass. We know her credentials, and more importantly, everybody knows what she's capable of. This is a multi-time women's champion all over the world. She's got experience. She's one of the only people that they're going to bring in at this point who has an experience edge on Asuka. So this should be a fantastic match. I am so looking forward to this match, man. Once again, I feel the women are in a position to have the best match on the card, which we've seen a couple of times with NXT, which completely led to WWE pushing their women into main event spots when they probably shouldn't have been. But it's happened naturally down in NXT, and it could happen again. I have a little bit of a hard time believing that because some of the other matches that we're going to see, including the main event, but still, there's a good possibility Mickie and Asuka puts out an absolute classic. It should be a great fight, man. The winner is not in doubt. It should be Asuka. There's no reason to have Mickie win this thing. Of all the people that Asuka could drop the belt to, this makes the least amount of sense. We know why this match is happening, but it doesn't really matter. We know that this is a match happening because there's simply nobody else that they could sell properly for Asuka right now in NXT. That includes Ember Moon. She just hasn't had enough time yet to, I feel, to be that real legitimate threat to Asuka. She's close. Very, very close, and we're going to see it soon. But this should be a great match. I've got Asuka. Who you guys got? Hit me up in the chat. Let me know who you guys think. Pittsburgh Boy says, Asuka, baby, Asuka. Nice. Ask him. I like that. Sleeping Angels, Asuka is going to win. It makes sense. Yeah, I agree. Kyle Lorch, Dave, do you think Mangus, Mickey's husband, will be on NXT? I don't know if he's going to be signing. Maybe that was part of the deal. I have no idea. Former Ghost, I read an article that said James Storm got signed or is going to be signed to NXT. Do you think that's true? I haven't read that yet. I've heard rumors. Bobby Roode was asked about it on a fucking podcast like the other day. That could be where that came from. I'm not sure. It's very possible that it happens. It makes a lot of sense in some ways, but I thought he was signed. I thought he actually did officially sign with TNA, but I don't know that for a fact. It makes even more sense if Bobby Roode goes ahead and loses to Ty Dillinger if James Storm does return, because you got a legendary tag team. Now, not everybody would agree that Beer Money is one of the greatest tag teams in history. I think they're in the conversation because they outshined divisions in other companies during a time when not everybody was giving a shit about necessarily TNA. Beer Money is a great tag team. Fantastic. And both guys could absolutely fucking go. So I think it's actually a good idea to make that happen. It gives you some options too, both at NXT and on the main rosters. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it very well could. According to Bobby Roode, though, he says he hasn't talked to James Storm since he came to NXT. So we will see. Carl Gibney, Asuka wins. Mad Money Mo, Asuka. Chris Payne, Asuka. Makad, Asuka wins, but Mickie looks strong in loss. Hopefully stays around in WWE. Agreed. Oh, it's going to be a classic. It's going to be a great match. Francisco Batista, Asuka would look really strong with the win. I agree. Robbo, Storm only returned TNA the other day. Yeah, I thought he was there back. I wasn't sure. Carl Gibney, Beer Money was a great tag team. I agree, they really were. I'm going with Asuka. I think it's pretty easy, clean sweep. Let's talk about the main event. And hold off with your calls, guys. We will be taking them as soon as I'm done with this last match. We've got Shinsuke Nakamura, my man, versus Samoa Joe. This feud has gone on for a long time, and it has been bloody marvelous. It has been so good. These two have shown that you can have long feuds again, and you're not going to get tired of them. Why? Because they don't get physical all the time. Why? Because they don't overplay their cards. They went to prototypical things that we've seen in wrestling done a million times, but they did them in ways that were interesting. With with Shinsuke breaking the jaw of Samoa Joe, and then just a couple weeks later, Samoa Joe being the humble Joe that we've seen him play a few times, and then lay out Shinsuke and put him in the hospital. I mean, it was awesome. Then Joe with all the ultimatums, destroying blue chippers. It was amazingly well done. Very smart, well thought out booking and storytelling. Shinsuke looks like a damn monster. So does Joe. Something's got to give. These two are going. You thought Brooklyn was physical. Wait till this match. I think this match is going to eclipse that match in every single way. That is going to be a fun-ass fight. Who do you guys got, man? Hit me up. Tell me who you think's going to win. Give me Shinsuke Nakamura or Samoa Joe. And here's the thing. You could make a case that Samoa Joe actually does beat Shinsuke. Because, yes, Shinsuke losing would be a little bit of an unfortunate thing. But if he's going up to the main roster anytime soon, which a lot of people think needs to happen, then there's no point in keeping him undefeated in NXT unless you want him to go up there with the belt. If he doesn't lose to Joe, Shinsuke does not drop the NXT title. He retires as NXT champion. Now, if ultimately you have sights on him, Brock Lesnar, for instance, or a match very similar to that, then it makes sense to keep him that strong. But Samoa Joe is out of options, you know? It kind of feels like Samoa Joe is out of options. Like if Joe loses, he has to go up to the main roster. But WWE, do they want him up there? If he wins, he can go back to being that dominant champion. There are plenty of guys that they could put him in there with. The problem is NXT is rather heel heavy at the moment. So based off all of those things, even though that doesn't necessarily matter in NXT like it does in WWE, I'm going to go with Shinsuke just because I am an absolute Shinsuke mark. And you guys know that. I love Shinsuke Nakamura. He is my favorite wrestler in the world right now. Love him. Love him, love him, love him. Let's see what people in the chat have to say. Casey McLaughlin, gotta go, guys. Gotta close up shop. Be back for Nerd and Jerk. That's right. We'll be live, Nerd and the Jerk, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget about that. The Gaming Fault. Hey, Dave. How's it? What's going on? Chris Payne. Askamura. Yeah, fuck it. Sammy. Daddy Dave. What's up, Sammy? How you doing? How you doing, girl? Anyway, Pittsburgh Point. All right, Dave, I'm out of here. I don't care. Robbo, if they want to challenge Brock, they shouldn't have Joe lose. That's what I'm saying. Or Jose lose. What? What? They shouldn't have Joe lose. Why would I don't know if they would necessarily want Joe to challenge Brock. I think they would much rather have Shinsuke challenge Brock. I think it's the better fight. Joe could do it too, but Joe's got Joe and AJ. Joe and AJ, do it now. Do it now. Us man, but Nakamura wins. Joe debuts after Survivor Series, goes in the feud with Brock. Oh, there's other people. I don't know. Chris Payne, Joe will crash Survivor Series. Very possible. McCod, down goes Joe. Then up goes Joe to Raw. Sleeping Angels, Nakamura wins. Chris Payne, Samoa Joe gets demoted to the main roster after Toronto. Good. Dynamite drop in. I like that. Carl, give me Nakamura to win, Joe to SmackDown. Sami Zayn, Dave always right. Oh, I wish that were true. I really do. Francisco, Nakamura wins. Joe should debut soon. It feels like we've been saying that for a long time. Formal Ghost, I feel like if WWE bought TNA, they turned it into an NXT pay-per-view, and some of the TNA guys on the NXT roster and used the Impact name as an NXT event. For example, NXT TakeOver, Impact. I'd kill myself. I really would. Mad Money Mode, Nakamura will win and Joe will go to the main roster. The Gaming Fault, kind of hope Joe loses so he can be moved to SmackDown. It seems like a lot of people are into that same mindset. It's kind of what they want to happen, and I don't blame you. I think it's time. There's really, like I said, it feels like Joe is out of options. It really does. All right, let's turn it over to you guys. We don't need to gild the lily too much here. We got another show in just a couple of hours, so let's turn it over to you guys. The phone lines are open. On Skype, David Vancura, DAVIDVANCURA, and of course the number 702-751-2902. Let's see what you guys have to think about NXT TakeOver Toronto, eh? Yeah, let's see what you guys have to say about that. Taking your calls now. Excited to hear from you. I want to put your voice in my ears. That looks like my mom. That might have been my mother. Is that my mom? Did my mom try to call me? I think my mom tried to call, and I didn't fucking see it. Thought it was my mama. I really thought, maybe not. Let me write my mom. Did you try to call me? Well, we do got a phone call. Let's go ahead and take that call. 310. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
Hey, how you doing, Dave? Listen,
I'm alive, baby.
Say, also, I just have to say, I really respect what you're doing with the show and everything, and, your YouTube channel. I just have to say, I have one prediction. There's a guy that always calls this phone, and he loves Kevin Owens. It's his favorite guy. His name's Matthew. I have to say, that guy absolutely sucks. His predictions suck. and his love for Kevin Owens sucks. He compares Kevin Owens to The Rock, and I think Kevin Owens will never be able to be as great as The Rock. And that's, pretty much all I have to say. That guy's trash,
That guy's a piece of monkey anus.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is. He's a piece of monkey anus.
That's good stuff, man. Hey, I always like seeing some feuds come to fruition. Good shit. We'll get you guys on here and let you go into the Thunderdome, all right? Thanks for the call, buddy.
All right, buddy.
Take it easy. Good call. I like when people throw shade at other people when it's not me. I enjoy that shit. Throw shade at other people. Don't throw it at me. I don't want the shade. I'll take the shade and I'll hang it up over my windows and shit. But that's good, calling out somebody else. Fuck them. Fuck them. I like it. All right, we will be taking more calls right here. And if we don't have any more callers, we will get up out of here because Nerd and the Jerk is looming. Gun Cannon's in the chat here. Gun Cannon, the guy who made this graphic. Look at all of this wonderfulness. He made it. Gun Cannon. And if you want to have him do some work for you, you can just contact him at GunCannon15 or Iron Knights. Fuck, where's the goddamn graphic? Where's that graphic when I need it? Where are ya, you son of a bitchin' graphic? Slideshow. What's the name of it? Shit. I'm really bad at my job. It's Iron Knights, man. But I'm sure Gun Cannon will correct me in just a moment. Foreman Ghost, Dave, Edge, and Christian Dudley boys are the Hardy Boys. We're not playing that game right now. We're not playing it. Old School Matt, Dave, thanks for letting me be in the Copious Clique. You're welcome. You're welcome. The Copious Clique is one of the groups on my Discord. Yes, you can get in my Discord. Come hang out with me. Talk with me. I'm doing more voice chats now as well. We're having a good old time there. I will throw it up there. Oh, we got my girl Sammy calling. We got baby Sammy. Baby Sammy's calling. What's going on, girl? How you doing?
Hi, Dave. I just want to say that this stream went well and you did good. And yeah, that's all I want to say.
I appreciate that. Looking good, by the way, Sammy. Looking good.
Thank you. Don't say that. Don't say that. But yeah. Okay, bye, Dave.
See you later, Sammy. Thanks for calling in. She's so cute. Sammy's so cute. So cute. I do appreciate her calling in. That's great. Let me get you guys the invite for the Discord. Here you go. There you guys go. There is the Discord link. You guys can get up in that Discord and hang out with me. And it looks like that is going to be the end of the caller. So last call for callers, and then we will get up out of here and we'll be back live. Oh, we got another caller. All right, good. 917, you're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
Hey, Dave. Toronto, do you agree that this is looking like one of the weaker cards of the last couple of takeovers?
No. In fact, I highly disagree with that.
Really? Why?
Well,
I think it looks pretty weak to me.
Well, I'll tell you why I don't think that's true. I think that you have a culmination of many long-running but very amazing feuds that are going to be happening at this event. Two, right off the top, you got the main event, Shinsuke Nakamura and Samoa Joe, which if it's half the match that they had at Brooklyn, we're in for a treat. I think it's going to eclipse that match. 2 out of 3 falls between DIY and Revival. That is a great feud that also had a fantastic match at Brooklyn. I'm expecting that to tear down the house. You got Asuka with her toughest challenge to date, should give her her best match that we've seen in NXT, Mickie James. And the rest of the matches are nice too. Dusty Rhodes Classic going to get a new champion there, more than likely Authors of Pain. You got a match that all the Torontonians are going to care about with Ty Dillinger and Mr. Glorious himself. I think the crowd's going to be into it. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a really good card.
I'm not saying it's not a good card. I just think it's one of the weaker ones of the last 2 years. I don't think it's a bad card. I think it could definitely be worse.
I don't know. I think on paper it's just as strong as a lot of the main ones that we've seen. Now, I think the one place I can't even say it's lacking in like the women's impact, because like Bayley and Sasha, I don't think there's any reason that we can't, think that Asuka and Mickey James, who are as big of names as those two, should be able to put on equally as good of a match. Shinsuke and Joe, huge names with a huge rivalry. I mean, I just don't see the weakness, man.
Okay, fair enough. Bobby Roode and Ty Dillinger. I normally wouldn't be looking forward to that match, but I am specifically because I think Ty Dillinger needs this win more than Bobby Roode does,
Agreed.
and I really hope he gets. Just because the guy is one of the elder guys on the roster. I think that he's another guy who I think Bobby Roode would definitely go up to the main roster before he does. And I think he's a guy that can have a significant amount of time, Dillinger, and not in the main event or upper mid-card scene of NXT, and I think that's what needs to happen. I look at this card, I think DIY, man, I don't know about those guys. They're good in-ring competitors, but I don't think they're good enough to carry the tag division the way the Revival is. I think they can be sort of like to a lesser extent Enzo and Cass, where they're just kind of like, I don't want to say the lovable.
Oh, I don't know, man. Enzo and Cass got over because of a gimmick. You know, Gargano and Ciampa are legitimately two of the best workers in wrestling. I mean, these guys are top 10 guys in ring. They're fantastic. So I don't know if I agree with that.
I'm talking about status. I'm talking about rank.
I think they've hit that. I think people really do dig DIY. The fact that they had to give them a name just so they could sell shirts because people were demanding it, that tells me that there's something there. And I think that there's a potential feud between DIY and Authors of Pain that could be really, really special. I'm with you, though, as far as the Revival being a great tag team, and they've done a great job of carrying the division. But I don't know. It kind of feels like the sun is setting on what the Revival are doing down at NXT. They almost feel like Blake and Murphy at times. Blake and Murphy, while they're jokes now, when they were tag team champions, they had a really nice run. They had some great feuds. They had some really nice matches. And then they kind of went off their separate ways. Now, I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen with the Revival, but I don't know if I see them, like, when you look at other tag teams that have dominated down at NXT, like the Ascension, who went on to do absolutely nothing in WWE up to this point. You look at even Cass and Enzo, even though they did not get a title run, it just, there seems to be something different that separates them. And I understand part of that is because they're a heel tag team, but we'll see, man. I think that DIY can certainly be that team.
If Joe loses tomorrow, do you think he's going to the main roster? Because I don't. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys right now, I think, who don't need to be in NXT, but I think he needs to. The main roster definitely needs him more than NXT does. Do you think that's where he goes if he loses? Well, when he loses, because he's not winning.
More than likely, he's not winning. I think he's just done everything that he can do down there in NXT. I mean, I think he's surpassed everyone's expectations. I don't think anybody had Joe doing what he's done down there. I mean, anybody. People thought maybe that Joe was going to have a nice run in NXT. Not this. He's had. Right. I mean, there was when he was champion, you could make the argument he was the most dominant champion in wrestling. I mean, that's how good he was as champion down there. So I think it's time. I think he's out of options. Shinsuke needs to be kept strong, not only because of his impending call-up, but just because I believe, and I think there's a lot of people in the WWE that believe this as well, Shinsuke has everything, and maybe the one thing that's lacking is his ability to speak English, but I don't think it matters with a guy like Shinsuke, just like it didn't matter with Daniel Bryan and some other guys who didn't talk particularly well. Shinsuke has everything. Shinsuke has everything to be that next transcendent type guy. He just does.
The issue with Nakamura, I mean, he's a lot of guys already. A lot of the former TNA guys. I think you'll agree. A lot of the guys in NXT don't really need to be there. A lot of the veterans.
Oh, agreed. Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, maybe even Eric Young. Yeah. Absolutely.
They're there for touring reasons. They're there to make a profit. NXT doesn't. Without them, NXT doesn't make much of a profit. But I think the problem with Nakamura is He's the total package. But the odds that Vince McMahon knows what to do with this guy is little slim to none. And I think you have to take account of that.
I don't know if that's true anymore. I think, look, when something hits Vince in the face hard enough, he doesn't have a choice. It eventually happened with Daniel Bryan. And people could say, well, Daniel Bryan didn't get a fair... Daniel Bryan was a multi-time champion before that yes movement shit. People just tend to fucking ignore that. The reality is, Vince gets more right than he gets wrong. Okay, that's something that needs to be fucking stated because everyone is just ridiculous with the anti-Vince shit. Is he out of touch at 72, 73, whatever he is? A little bit, yes, I agree. However, when something smacks him in the face, the way Shinsuke has opened people's eyes, I think Hunter is going to be there protecting him as well. I don't think you can ignore it. I don't think you can mishandle it. You just kind of got to put him out there, and the fans are going to take it over from there. That's what I believe. We'll see, though.
But look at what has happened to the majority of guys in the main roster. It's mostly a bunch of, even the guys in the main event are a bunch of mid-carders, to be honest. They're not as over as they need to be. He's pushing a lot of these vets over a lot of the main roster guys. You look at a guy like Roman Reigns, who is one of the, honestly, despite what the internet says, he's one of the best talents on our roster. And
no, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
I can't believe you cannot say that when he is on a roster with guys like Kevin Owens, with guys like Seth Rollins. You cannot put it. No, he's not. He's a good merch seller because he's a John Cena type guy. That's who he is. That's his role. But he is not one of the best talents on the roster. That's ridiculous.
He's not the most talented guy on the roster, but as far as status and rank and popularity, he has to be.
He's so polarizing, and that's the thing. If your segments are getting hijacked and it's affecting other people's work, Rusev not getting a fucking chance because just being in there with Roman Reigns. We've seen that with other guys. Hell, it almost happened to AJ Styles, but luckily AJ's so fucking good that it doesn't matter. That's a problem. People are hijacking
sort of my point. Is
that's an issue.
You look at it, Roman Reigns, he's the most pushed guy in the last 2 years, and he's barely over. You look at Seth Rollins, who should have been a baby face, maybe early 2015. That's when he really started getting his merch numbers and live events numbers started to skyrocket. And he just recently turned babyface only because Finn Balor got injured.
Right. Seth was going face anyway. First, I got to correct you on a couple things. Seth was going face anyway. Yeah. He was going face regardless. That turn was happening. It was going to happen. It was going to be a slow burn, but that turn was coming. Second, you can't complain about what Seth has done because Seth had a fantastic Weasel heel championship run. It's underappreciated because we've seen it done before with Triple H as champion, but it was a good run, man. He didn't have a lot of great guys to feud with, Roman being one of them, by the way. You're only as good as your talent around you. Now, where I'm gonna end this on this because I got to get up out of here.
Yeah.
Shinsuke is a different type of talent. Shinsuke is a different type of talent. Even a Kevin Owens got a type of reaction that was nice. When Shinsuke comes out for the first time, it's going to feel different. It's going to feel like glass breaking. It's going to feel like...
6 months, Dave. I give you 6 months. And the guy is... All right, we'll see.
We'll see. I don't see it as long as they don't fuck this up. This is one of those situations where they have to fuck this up. And I think that's where you were going is you see them fucking it up. And maybe they will.
Absolutely.
Maybe they will. But you know what? Eventually they got to get this right. And I think that with a guy like Shinsuke, it's too there. It's just too much there. The matches that you can have him go with, if you put him on SmackDown, being able to have him feud with AJ Styles, put it all over my face, neck, and chest. You have him on Raw. Jesus Christ, imagine him in there with guys like fucking Brock Lesnar, which I think should be the WrestleMania main event. Put him in there with fucking Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, even Roman Reigns. I mean, the possibilities are fucking endless, man. And just... take my fucking money, give me a goddamn nut cup, because I'm going to be giving sperm and I'm going to make a lot of babies. All right. Hey, I appreciate the
Right,
call,
right.
man. Take it easy, buddy.
See you. Thanks for taking my call.
No problem. Well, that was kind of monotonous, but hey, good call. Good call. There you go, man. I hope you guys had a good time tonight, man. I'm losing my voice and I don't like it. This came out of nowhere. I had no idea that my voice was going out. That's going to wrap it up for this NXT TakeOver Toronto prediction show, eh? I hope you guys had a good time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys thought about a few things. Hopefully we laughed together. We smiled together. We had some revelations together. And just remember, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just 2 short hours from now, I will be back. We're going to be talking Dave Chappelle. We're going to be talking all of the big holiday toys of this season and yesteryear and much, much, much more with the legendary comedian Jake Link. And I cannot wait for that. So make sure you guys are here with me for that show, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys? Thank you very much for joining me right here on Dead on Dave Productions. This was your copious live prediction show for NXT TakeOver Toronto, eh? Thank you guys very much for joining me. We'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, and share. And as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends like all those guys on my featured channels list. Thank you, SparxyDriod, for this amazing graphic. Look at that, my new channel logo. Thank you, Gun Cannon 15 over at Iron... Shit, I forgot the name of it. The Iron Knight Graphics. Thank you for that, for the wonderful frame. We'll see you next time. Keep it copious. And peace.